Good morning. We are happy to be here. We're Harbor House Crisis Shelters, and actually, I'm really excited to be here because I'm from New Auburn. My husband Justin's from Bloomers, so being back in the town that we know and love is amazing. So thank you for having us today. I'll introduce myself, and then I'll have my coworker Sharon say a few words, and we'll get going. So my name is Crystal Brandstatter. I am a case manager with Harbor House Crisis Shelters. I've been there almost 14 years now. I'd gone up to Superior for school. I was supposed to be a teacher. Everybody's like, you'd be so good at this. And then I fell in love with psychology, and the rest is history. So I enjoy what I do there. Outside of work, I am married, I have 3 kids, and we are highly involved in hockey, and that's basically my life right now.
Hi, I'm Sharon Thompson, and I'm glad to be here this morning. I have 2 children, lovely children. One of them is 31, he has autism, and the other one is 29, and she is currently at UWS studying social work. I have a small dog that can be very challenging, like having a little child.
I feel that.
He's a mini pin, but he's very active, so it's really difficult sometimes being old and trying to keep up after him. So, but anyway, I've worked at Harbor House for 10 years, and I'm really happy to work with Crystal. She's been awesome ever since I've been there, so anyway.
I appreciate that. Thank you. You as well. So yeah, we're so excited to be here and to teach you guys a little bit about what we do and about homelessness. Because like when I grew up, honestly, in New Auburn, I didn't think about homelessness. I thought we all had our houses we went to. And I mean, you go to work, you go to school, you do sports, you go home, and that's it. So when I moved up to Superior and I realized how bad a problem it was, holy cow, I was floored. I mean, it's such a huge thing. To give you guys some understanding, in 2021, we served 334 individuals in our shelter, and that doesn't include those who called us who may have found another place to go, those who are living under a bridge, out, in the woods, in a tent, with a family or in their car. And every day we hear about more and more people who have children and they're living out of their vehicles. And how I've even heard people say, oh, they're lucky because they have a car to live in. They're not totally homeless. But can you imagine having, a 3-year-old who's active, who's wanting to run around, and you have them in your car and it's getting cold? I mean, I couldn't. I don't know what I would do. So homelessness is, a huge, huge problem. And it's something that we're working to address every single day because, at the end, I would rather have no job because we've solved the issue of homelessness. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening. I see it growing more and more every single year. We had times where the shelter would be empty for a little bit and we'd, close it until somebody called, but now we have a waiting list that's sometimes a month long. So imagine you have no place to go. You call me crying and I'm telling you, I'm sorry, I don't have space. What are you supposed to do? Thankfully, we have a lot of agencies that partner with us to make sure that these people are cared for, because just like you and me, they're people. They need to be cared about. They need to be loved. They need to, a place to belong. So it's our job to, bridge that gap of, where are they gonna go and help get them into a better position in their lives. So we were actually founded back in 2001 by Reverend Barb Serta Warner, and oh my gosh, we miss her. She was with us for, I think, over 20 years and until she moved on to her new position. We're super, super proud of her and, her family. We got to visit them about a month ago, and it was such a blessing to speak in their church. So we initially served, just a few people. We had a volunteer who was staff, and now we have a paid staff. We have a shelter that serves 3 families and 4 individuals. So each family, they have their own family room. So they don't have to be bunked up with somebody else, and then they live in the house together. And it's really cool because, this is a bunch of strangers coming in. And yeah, don't get me wrong, there are times it can be a little crazy. Can you imagine 4 people, individual women, sharing a room that have never met before? Yeah, it gets interesting. But honestly, it becomes like a community. People cook together. People's children become friends. You see them go to the store together, taking walks together. We do a lot of projects and art with them, and it's just cool seeing their growth from like day one. They are terrified when they come in. They are crying. They're like, what do I do? I'm so embarrassed. And I'm like, we're here to help. We're not here to judge you. We're not here to turn you away because you have a mental illness or you have chemical dependency. We're here because we truly want to bless you. We want to help you. And the Lord is calling us to do this for you. Because let me tell you, you don't do this job for the money. You definitely don't get that. But what I do get is so much more than, anything money can buy. Seeing the look on somebody's face when they go from totally homeless to telling you, hey, I got an apartment. I got a job. I got my kids back. I get goosebumps to this day every time something like that happens. So that's a lot of fun. While they're in shelter, we try to provide for everything that they need. We provide their bedding, hygiene items. We have food, so if somebody comes in with nothing, we have, something we can offer them. And then as a case manager, it's my job to make sure that they have whatever assistance they need. I want to increase their income. I can do that through helping them, look for employment, signing up for things like food stamps, medical insurance, our W-2 program, which helps pay them while they look for work. I help them with things like looking for apartments. So yeah, they're waiting lists, but you know what? I'd rather now make sure they get on those lists than wait until later and then the lists grow even longer. And if people will keep their options open, that helps too, because a lot of people will be like, I just want to live in Superior. But truly, where we are, Duluth is over the bridge. I mean, we have a bus system that, can take people back and forth. So really, if they're open, there's a lot of options out there that they do have. Not that it's going to be easy, especially if somebody's had an eviction or, a felony on their record, but it's definitely doable. So besides shelter, we have a 2-year program, a transitional program. And again, I do casework with them to address the needs of is your credit bad and you need help rebuilding that? Do you need to build a rental history? Do you need help paying back fines? And we can come up with a payment plan that'll work for you. So we do a lot of things with that. And then more recently, well, I should say that started in 2007 or so. And then I think in 2020, I might be a little off on that date, but we opened a 5-apartment unit that's permanent supportive housing. And that's something that we truly, for so long, needed in our community. Something that if somebody was doing well, but they needed extra time that they could benefit from while still getting service and support from Harbor House staff. So we're really excited to have that program, and it's, been able to help quite a few people too. So we do quite a bit shelter-wise, and I'm gonna have Sharon talk to you more about what she does within the shelter.
Okay, here, I'll just do that. As I said again, I'm the house manager at Harbor House. My main job is to ensure that clients have everything they need, to make sure the house runs smoothly, to make sure chores are being done, and to take care of day-to-day day-to-day needs of the house. I am also responsible for conducting intakes, which means the clients will be residing for that evening once I do that paperwork. Often the first time they meet me, they're scared and they are broken and confused because they are unsure because they are now in a strange place, because before they were somewhere else and now this is just unknown for them, and what's going to happen to them next. I think that's the unknown is what disturbs them the most, I find, when they come through the doors. As a staff, I help clients work through their fears and help them facilitate a more positive attitude and help them get through and say, hey, you know, you're not homeless now. You're in a safe place, and you do have a home now. When a client first comes in the shelter, we make sure that they have all their, I usually make up their bed and put pillows and blankets for them once they come in. And I also provide them with a hygiene kit. And the hygiene kit is usually deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, and other items like Band-Aids or other needs that they have. They also get a towel and a washcloth. I also ask them usually if they need anything else, because sometimes they just come with the clothes on their back and they don't have anything to wear. So I tell them, okay, let's go to the garage, and we have all kinds of clothing, purses, shoes, and that helps out. So they don't have to wear the same thing every day, because that's kind of demeaning for them to have to continue to wear the same clothing. As a house manager, I ensure that the clients do their chores. They have a schedule, and usually I check up on them and make sure that everybody is cleaning up after themselves, because oftentimes they don't have those skills. They leave pots and pans all over the place sometimes, and then I have to remind them, hey, you need to clean up. They don't always like that because they don't, you know, they feel like I'm being their mom. But I'm there for the best interest of them, but they don't always look at it that way. Okay, so also, the other thing that we do is we kind of help them, because sometimes they have a disability, and so I do accommodate people that have disability, because I usually ask them, okay, because they try to get out of it. They try to use their disability. I'm in a walker or whatever, and I say, well, what kind of chore can you do? And usually they can, you know, sit down and do some dishes, or even if you can simply wipe off the tables, that would be sufficient. While taking care of the day-to-day needs, I ensure that all the clients are in their rooms at night, and then I usually lock the doors so that everybody's safe. We, as a staff, we do room checks, make sure they're not smoking or they're not eating or drinking in their rooms. We want it to remain clean, so we tell them they have to make sure they do all of that in the dining area or the kitchen area. They may be subjected to a drug testing, but this is something we do, and we tell them that everybody is subjected to this, and that we want to hold everybody accountable in the house, but at the same time, we do offer help for anybody that has a drug problem. we also, what I do is I build a trust with them. As I work with them, I see clients, once they come in, they change their attitude. Sometimes clients are very angry at us, and it's usually not us, it's usually their situation, or it could be a family member that they're having fights with, but they often take it out on us. So I usually let them have the space, and then they come around, and they a lot of times they just apologize, saying, it's not you, it's just my situation. So that's part of our job. We want to try to make them feel like they're at home, and as time goes by, they feel more and more relaxed, and they realize that we're in it for them. We're not demeaning them or any way. We're there to support them, and after a while, they do get that. Also, for a lot of our clients, the reason why they are angry and distrustful to us also is often, as a child, they grow up in just very dysfunctional families. The child often takes on roles which they shouldn't be, that should be done by adults. And also, many guests had to live in a very domestic situation with their parents fighting all the time. So it was very difficult. Or they had to live with witness parents using drugs. What we see in the shelter, that our clients have been taught how to, what we see in the shelter, that clients have not been taught to be productive adults, but are now trying to raise children. They're on their phones, or they sometimes, we look at it as neglect, but we still have to work with them and see that they're trying to do their best. But oftentimes they let their children run around, and they're not watching them as closely as they should. So we kind of help them through that. Also, the other thing that we do is, I think, is really awesome, is that that we help them to see that it's not just being in the house. We also like to have fun here. So we cook together, we laugh together, and share our feelings together. This helps the clients see that it's kind of makes them feel like they are a part of a family. One of the things that I like to do with the clients is to paint with them or do some kind of crafts. This helps them just forget about all their troubles, because sometimes they're crying about their situation, but I'll say, hey, you want to sit down and paint or play cards or do something, and they forget about everything at that time. So it's good to see that that we can have that interaction with them. This is the art intervention that I do with them is a part of something that our director started to help a lot of people, and I think she helps them in drug treatment, isn't that right? And so we do it around the shelter also. The other thing that I've done in the past, when we have children like around 12, 13 or teenage, I have sat down, and I know Crystal has too, played board games with them and art activities, or have them cook a meal. I did that one time, and it was really fun because we had they cooked for their family, and they felt very proud of that. They cooked a meal and presented that to their family. And then Last and foremost, I wanted to tell you some examples that, that we had in our shelter. We had someone that I was really proud of. This was about 7 years ago. She was a former prostitute. She decided not to go back to her former ways, and within a month, she was able to find a job and to find housing. And she had a small child to boot. She had to take care of that child, and then accomplished all that within 30 days. And that was one of the most things that I've ever been more proud. I can't say enough about what she did within that month. Also, we had a disabled couple that was able to find a place within a month of staying at Harbor House. And some of the people that stay here in a month or so, they don't always find what they need. Like, they don't find housing, they don't find employment. But Crystal works very hard, and sometimes we don't always see successes. That's the hardest part of this job, is not see people get what they need. We have such a dedicated staff, and I'm very proud of everybody, and I believe we're doing God's work here and at Harbor House. And I really, truly believe that we make a difference in everybody's lives there.
You know, I feel like everybody who comes in, we make a difference. We help them move forward in their life. We help them to develop the skills they need to be successful, and I'm so thankful for that. But here's the thing, we're a nonprofit. We heavily rely on grants and donations. Every year we have to apply for different grants and hope we get the money that we need in order to continue to help other people. Besides grants and we get donations from people like you. We have people in the community who want to make monetary donations to help us buy supplies we need for helping clients pay utilities and do shelter repairs. Some organizations also do donation drives for us. We're always in need of items such as socks, towels, hygiene items, pillows, and bedding. Basically, what you can use, they can use when they move into their new apartment, or even, when they're starting over and have had abuse. So I hope that you consider donating to Harbor House so we can continue serving the homeless for years to come. We actually brought donation envelopes that will be passed around today. I appreciate everybody, being here to listen to us. The homeless are people just like me and you. They deserve a safe place to rest their heads at night, just like you do. And we just hope that in the future, we continue to make a difference and serve the Lord. And, it's such a good thing to help other people. So go out today and, whatever you do, make a difference in somebody's life. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.